What's going on, guys? This is part two to my beginner's guide to Stackin Silver. If you've already seen part one, thanks for clicking part two. If you haven't, just go on my channel and you'll find it. Those of you that already saw it, just a quick little recap on what I said in the last one, just to get you up to speed. Basically, I said make sure every piece of silver you're buying has purpose behind it. Okay. Are you buying this for the weight? Are you buying this for the mintage, the rarity? They change designs every year. Everything needs to, every piece of silver has to have purpose behind it. Okay. Well, with that being said, I'm going to talk about this guy right here. This is a German coin, and that's about all I know about it. This was one of the first things I bought when I first started, and this is a prime example of buying without direction. So here we are 5 years later, and I don't remember how much I paid. I don't remember if it's 80% silver or 90% silver. Probably somebody watching this video is like, oh, I know exactly what that is. I don't, because I'm not a coin collector, and this is the type of silver I don't buy. And that's what I'm trying to tell you and prevent you from doing when you're starting out. It's a reason for these videos, so you don't make the same mistakes. So like I said, I don't remember how much I paid, and here we are 5 years later, and this thing's in my stack. So make sure every piece of silver you buy has purpose to it, okay? It has knowledge behind it as well. Don't go buying things blindly, because that's when you're leaving yourself open to mistakes. And, doing this, you want to try and get the best price for everything that you're buying, and everything needs to have a purpose, okay? So there you go. A little mistake that I made. Don't do that. Have purpose when you're buying, okay? All right, so in my last video, I said that I buy these pandas every year, and I buy one in a slab and one loose. My last video, I showed you a loose one. This time, I'm showing you one in a slab. This one is an MS69, so it's basically one grade away from being a perfect coin, and you could actually snag these for pretty cheap. But the purpose of me showing you this is because I want to tell you the purpose of me buying them. So every year they go up in value, and well, pretty fairly consistently go up in value. If you look on eBay or anywhere for that matter, and you see someone selling these runner like 10 years in a row, 2010, 11, 12, whatever, you get the idea. You'll notice that they're selling for a lot more than whatever silver content there is, okay? So let's just say it's 5 ounces of silver, and you do the math, you're going to see that it doesn't add up. It's way more than whatever the silver is. Why? Because you have coin collectors that want to have a panda for every year. Sometimes they just got started and they want to catch up, which if you're interested in doing this, and you're on somewhat of a budget, don't go back more than 1 year. You can go back 1 year. You could still get the 2016 pandas right now, for pretty much the same price as when they first came out. But if you want to do this, make sure you don't go too far back, because you will be paying more money for these pandas, okay? So anyways, and also, if you're doing the panda route, make sure you're buying from reputable companies, which I'll put in the description, a list of reputable companies. As I go through this, you'll see why. But I do 90% of my buying on eBay, okay? But I buy mostly from reputable companies, your Apmex, your Bullion, your Scottsdale, so on and so forth. But these pandas especially need to be bought from only reputable companies. Don't go buying in China any silver from China, any gold from China. You're already asking for trouble. And with these are highly counterfeit. If you look at, I have a video of me comparing a real panda with a fake one, and let me tell you, it was decent. Okay, the counterfeit was a decent one, and they've only gotten better. So the fact that it's in a slab, kind of, it's graded and whatever, so it's real. But to be honest, like sometimes they even counterfeit these slabs. So just to avoid all that headache, make sure you're buying from reputable companies, especially starting out. Like any silver should actually be bought from only reputable companies, not even from like smaller coin shops. You shouldn't be buying from them. Little by little, you'll learn which ones are good and so on and so forth. All right. So that being said, let's move on to the next thing. I have this right here. It's a 2012 Rwanda Rhino. And the reason why I'm showing you this is because it's kind of the same deal. I'm trying to get my camera to focus here. It's kind of the same deal. There we go. As the pandas, they change in design every year. Um, they change, I should say, they only change the animal, but the backdrop's pretty much the same template. But it has this little privy right here. Okay. So if you've already kind of been doing your research and you've seen the word privy, I'm just going to kind of like give you a bland explanation of what a privy is. It's just like a little thing like that. This one has F15, okay, which for these it was fabulous 15 or something. I don't know. But I bought this for hoping that it'll go up in value. Now, the privy, there's only 1,000 of these minted. Okay, I have a regular rhino, the same one, okay, without the privy, and that one's going for about, I want to say like $80 or so right now. This one with the privy is going for 100, so $20 more just because it has F15 on it. There's only like 1,000 of these minted. Okay, um, anyone that's buying silver for weight is not going to be interested in this coin. Okay, at this point you're trying to kind of entice a coin collector to buy this. And I'm taking a gamble. Hopefully it'll go up in value. It's gone up a little bit since I bought it, so far so good. But this is not some, a regular stacker is not going to be buying these. So you're limiting yourself to who you can sell to with this kind of stuff, all right? However, the flip side to that, coin collectors will spend the money, okay? Because they just will. So, yeah. Anyways, so if you're ever confused about any piece of silver, for example, the privies, if you see that stuff and you're confused by it, stay away from it. Don't even buy it. Don't ever buy anything confused or unsure. Make sure you're buying confidently, okay? Do your research and, know what you're buying before you're buying it. If you see a good price on something, like, do your research. Don't just jump into it just because it's a good price. You need to make sure, one, it's legit, and two, that, it's actually silver. There's a lot of scams out there, especially if you buy on eBay. However, the flip side to that, eBay is a great place to buy if you know what you're doing, okay? So next I have this. I brought this bar up. It'll probably in almost all my videos. I love this bar, okay? One, for the price point, not so much the way because of the way it looks. It's, whatever. It's a sharp bar, but it's nothing special. But the price point makes me love this bar, okay? Right now, Jam Bullion is selling these for like $105, okay? 5 ounces, 105. I bought this like a week ago for $93. 93. That's not bad. That's a good price right there. And another thing I love about it, one, it comes in this plastic already. Sometimes I hate the plastic, sometimes I don't. In this case, I like it, especially if you want to keep your bars like from tarnishing and whatever. These are nice. And also because of this right here, a little security feature. I actually just ordered a decoder that works for this. And actually, when I get it, I'll probably make a video so you guys can see. It's pretty cool. But anyways, you put the decoder over this little piece of plastic, and this will say valid. Okay? So a nice little security feature with these, too. And they do it with their rounds as well. They do it with their rounds. They do it with all their bars, their 1 ounce bars, all of them. They have this right here. They were being counterfeited at one point, so they stepped up their security on them. So I like them big time right now. Um, if you're buying through eBay, make sure your watch list is loaded. Mine's loaded. I look at it almost every day. For that reason, exactly. These seemingly go down in price like once a month. They go on sale, so I always keep an eye on these. And there's a couple other companies that are selling them too, not just the JM Bullion. So if you're going for weight, that should be your bread and butter right there. These are great. I love them. All right. Next little thing right here. Also, one of my favorite companies, Scottsdale Silver. Um, they, this bar it doesn't do much for me. This is the only one I have. And knowledge is power. So like, here's a little example of knowing things. Okay, this came in the same plastic like this type deal. Okay. However, when I bought this, these were they were counterfeiting the crap out of these. So I started getting a little paranoid because I didn't even remember where I bought it. And so I took it out of there and I weighed it, which ended up being okay. However, when I go to sell this, okay, someone that knows, so it might be difficult for me because people know these come in that plastic, and automatically, because it's out of that plastic, um, a red flag is going to be raised. So, and I'm a private seller. So, I might have trouble trying to sell this when the time comes. And I'm not saying just because it's in the plastic, it means it's real. Because one of the fake pandas that I mentioned earlier actually came in that plastic. So that doesn't necessarily mean it's real. However, these normally come in the plastic. And I know people take them out too. But, just knowing, if you're looking into buying something and you don't know that they come in the plastic, that's just one thing, that it could kind of help you like determine whether it's a good buy or not. Okay, you know that it's in the plastic, it looks legit. But anyways, so knowledge is power. Do your research. If you look at videos, you'll see the people with these in the plastic, and you'll know that they normally come in that plastic. And when you're first starting out buying, just the best advice I can give you, two things actually. One being, only buy from reputable companies when you're first starting out. Then you could kind of work your way into like the smaller coin shops and things like that. Because sometimes they do have good prices, but you got to know where to buy. If you do consider buying from those smaller companies through eBay, make sure you're reading their feedback scores and making sure that they've sold gold and silver before. It's not like a one-time sell or something like that. Because chances are, if they're selling fake stuff, someone would have already caught it and it'll be on there. However, starting out, avoid all that little by little. As you get experience, then you can start doing that type of stuff. But starting out, buy from like the bigger companies, which, like I said, I'll put in the description, a couple of them. And the second piece of advice is to stick with the regular, common silver coins, okay? So like your Libertads, your American Eagles, and your Maples. Stick with that when you're first starting out. And you could even start with these too, because now I told you, you have a little bit of knowledge on these right here. JM Bullion on eBay. There you go. Boom. I already told you where to buy them too. But starting out, stick with the regular stuff. The reason why, everybody in the stacker world knows American Eagles, Maples, Libertads, and there's others, but those are common. Everybody knows them. And the likelihood of you getting burned it's way less if you stick with those, okay? And almost all the companies sell them, so you could kind of do a little price comparison and get the best deal. All right. Another company, if you're doing this, by the way, there's a company called MCM. They are super cheap. And unfortunately, I live in Florida, and they charge a sales tax, so most of the time it doesn't work out for me. But I have bought from them before because it has worked out. MCM. If you don't live in Florida, they have some great prices. It's unfortunate that I live in Florida and they hit me with that tax, but they sell these pretty cheap in the slab, and they have like nice slabs too. So check them out. Which brings me to my next point. Make sure before you buy, you're reading the description. A lot of these companies, if you're in the same state, they will charge you sales tax. Okay? So you go to buy this, let's just say the Libertad, you go to check out, and all of a sudden you see that they're charging you tax because you're in the same state. So make sure you're reading the descriptions and you're not in the same state. Okay? So there's another little tidbit. All right? And I mentioned this in my last video. I'm going to reiterate though. These single bars, you're always going to be paying more. Okay? They're neat. I have a bunch of silver bars like this. Okay? They're cool. But if you're going for weight, this is not the way you want to go. $118 for 5 of these. Okay? Like I said before, $105 right now, normal for this. If you're patient, $93, 5 ounces. Same silver, 0.999. This silver is not better. It's the same. Okay? If you're buying in bulk like this, usually it's cheaper. Okay? And the reason being, like I said in my last video, it takes a lot more work to make one little 1 ounce bar than it does to make a huge chunk of a 5 ounce bar. Another thing of that, the reason why I brought this out, this is a 2 ounce Northwest Territory silver bullet. Pretty cool looking, and that's why I bought it. No other reason really, because I paid a little bit more for the silver itself, 2 ounces. And why? Because it's machined. Okay, there's work put into this, and these are cool looking, and that's about it. If you're going for weight, stay away from this like specialty silver, as like I want to call it, specialty silver. Stay away from this stuff. When you get more experience and you get bored, or you want to just have some cool pieces, then you can start buying this stuff. All right, so that's that. Okay. Then we got the junk silver, which I brought up in my last video. I just want to go a little bit more in depth with it. If someone's selling this by the pound or anything like that, stay away from it. Make sure you're finding the face value, okay? That's what it's called, the face value. So if you're going to search for this junk silver, okay, which is 90% silver, government-issued silver, type in your search, literally, whatever face value you want to buy, like, $2 face value, etc. Face value junk silver, and that's how you should be shopping for this stuff. Okay, $1.40. Any combination, dimes, quarters, half dollars, not nickels, only war years for nickels. That's when you start getting a little more in depth, but whatever. You just need to know dimes, quarters, and half dollars. No matter what combination you do, is 1 ounce, $1.40. Okay, so make sure you have the face value there so you could do your math and make sure you're getting a good deal. All right, don't buy into the 1 pound of this and 1 pound of that. Make sure you're buying it according to the face value. Okay, so this is part 2. Make sure you're buying with purpose. If I miss anything, you guys that are also stackers and been doing it for a while, feel free to chime in. I might make another video going a little more in depth for maybe like intermediate stackers. But eBay is a great place. Despite what you've probably heard, it's a great place to buy. A lot of people buy from there. A lot of stackers I know buy from there, and I'm one. But you could also buy directly from these companies, which I'll list in the description, like I said. You could buy directly from them. The reason why I buy on eBay is so I could watch different companies and keep an eye on everything all at once. That's why I like eBay. But sometimes you might be able to get a good deal buying directly as well. And another little piece of advice. If you have the cash and you have a credit card that happens to give cash back, use the credit card and then pay it as soon as you're done with the cash. That way you're getting closer to the price of silver. And that's the goal whenever you're buying, especially if you're going for weight, to get as close to the price of silver as possible. And that's, 2% just by using your card. Pay it off right away, and you just saved yourself 2% off the top. I also use so I use a credit card, which I get cash back, and I use something called Swag Bucks, which I mentioned in my first two videos. I have links in those videos if you're interested. Basically, it's like a rewards program, and they work with eBay, so I get like 2% cash back through them, which you could get like a Visa card or whatever. I'm sure there's other companies that do the same. I just happen to pick Swag Bucks, and I use them. Um, but make sure you're taking advantage of all kinds of things like that. eBay bucks too, great. So make sure you're taking advantage of those things. The eBay bucks, the cashback credit cards, and things like Swag Bucks where you get points or whatever, some sort of cash back when you're buying. Um, you want to be able to get as close as possible. You want to try and get this stuff as cheap as possible. Um, and another thing, start slow, okay? Um, don't buy 5 ounce bars of silver right off rip. Make sure you got to kind of feel it out to see where you're comfortable. You don't want to resell this stuff right away. You're only going to lose money. And so if you're buying, make sure it's the intention to keep it. One of the biggest mistakes beginners make is overbuying. You get overly excited and you buy way too much, and then you have to go and start selling stuff right away. So that's a negative. So you don't want to be doing that. Don't overbuy. Feel it out. Feel what you can afford, and then start saving up towards a 5 ounce bar. Start saving up, for a 10 ounce bar. Whatever. Just make sure you can afford it. Don't overbuy. Okay. Another thing I wanted to bring up, besides overbuying and selling, if you're considering doing this, let me tell you some positives. Okay. One of them being, if you have a savings account, your money's not doing anything for you. Okay. With this, at least you're putting your money to work. Your money should never be sitting. Okay. It should be always working. I do not believe in a savings account. The only way I use my savings account is if I'm saving up for a vacation. That's usually where I put it, in a savings account, and then I unload it and go on vacation. All right. If your money's not working for you, then it's not doing anything for you. So this is great because the price of silver and gold obviously fluctuate, and we're all hoping it goes up. But when I first started doing this, I picked the worst time. 2012, silver was at like 30, 35 an ounce. This piece of silver would have cost me like $40 in 2012. So literally, I got in at the worst time because months after I started, all of a sudden the price of silver just totally dropped. But the bright side of that, I saw that happening. I sold most of my stuff and waited for it to level out and then bought right back in. However, right now is a buyer's market. If you guys do it now, this is a great time to start. I'm talking 2012. There's absolutely no reason why silver and gold can't go back up to 35 an ounce for silver or 1900 an ounce for gold. All right. So right now is the best time to start. You're picking a good time. So that's one of the positives. Another thing, if you're trying to save money, this is great, because of the amount of effort it would take to try and get your money to spend. So for example, you saw a pair of sneakers you really like. If you had your money sitting in a savings account, nowadays you could just transfer the money directly into your checking, and all of a sudden you have a new pair of sneakers. By doing this, you're not going to make those impulsive buys anymore. This forces you to save money. It stops you from making those impulsive buys. You're going to have to go and sell this before you can go buy something. And that alone might deter you from going to buy that pair of sneakers you don't need. So this is good. This is good for your kids. You could save up for them. You could even do it with your kids and get them started at a young age. It's something you could do to bond with them. There's just so many things that are great about doing this. But if you want to save up for their college, this is a great way to do it, little by little. You could do whatever, 5 ounces a week, and work your way up. However you want to do it. Just make sure you're comfortable with whatever you're spending and know your limits as far as what you could afford. Because like I said, you don't want to touch this stuff. You're going to lose money. So start slowly, and little by little you'll understand like exactly how much you could spend comfortably without having to touch it. All right. So there you go. There's part 2. Like I said, I might make a intermediate level guide, but this is my beginners. I can make a part 3 if you guys feel it necessary. I feel like I hit on some good points here, but let me know in the comments. And like I said, anyone that's already an experienced stacker, feel free to chime in. I love, having conversations with you guys. And, you beginners out there, do your research, watch tons of videos, and hopefully I'm helping you out. And I just want to thank everybody for watching, and I'm up to 80 subscribers, which is great. And for the most part, everyone's been real cool. And that's about it. So, thank you guys, and I hope you keep watching my stuff. I'm enjoying this very much. And hopefully I'm helping some of you out there. Even if I had, helped you with one thing that you had on your mind, that'll be a victory in my book. All right? So there you go. Part 2, Stackin Silver. Get it going. Now's the time to start. Don't be afraid. Know what you're buying, and you will be all right. Feel free to ask me anything you want in the comments. All right, guys. I will talk to you later, and I will see you on my next video. Later.